Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's AMA. Hello. Let's just wait for everyone to flow in for a few minutes before we begin. And thank you, Brian, for, coming and spending some time with us for this week's AMA.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me.
Hello, chat. How is everyone this week? Apologies that the AMA gets pulled back an hour. It's just a bit unfortunate. I am on the other end of the world, so
Yeah, blame the world for it.
yep. Hello, Upkeck. Just so everyone, so there's no confusion, Wolf won't be joining us today. He has some stuff he has to attend to. So it's just going to be the rest of us. No Wolf this week, Flame. Hello, only 23. Yeah, because of the time zones, if we do the normal time, it's almost 6 a.m. for me, so it'll be about 5-ish when we start, so hope you guys don't mind. We love the Wolf PR keys. Yes, we do. Cool, so we'll begin in a few minutes. Before we start, just wanted to say, if you guys didn't know, we had a community contest this week, which was hosted by MJM France. I'm sure you guys notice him in the chat. He's here all the time, always participates and helps out. And the contest was for 3 bats to 3 winners, and he just posted the winners in chat earlier today. So if anyone has any questions this week, you can ask Brian directly, because he'll be joining us. So
Also, we have a musical performance at the end of the AMA.
correct. I think Plaffy, right?
He lost the bet
Yep.
then.
Yeah, it was a good fight, I will say. Yeah, it was a great fight, yes. So I guess we begin in about a minute. I see most people are rolled in now. Cool. So before we begin, AMA might be cut a little bit short this week because we have something to attend to around close to the end of the hour, but we'll keep you guys posted. Concert, yeah, correct. Hopefully Plaffy fixes his mic so it doesn't cut out when he screams. Okay, Ryan, you can bring the first person up.
Okay, first up is KA.
Hi guys, can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
Beautiful. Thanks for having me up. I appreciate it. Just to start off, I really appreciate all the work you guys are putting in. The community's really gravitated together behind you guys, and just want to say thank you. I know it's not been easy, so thank you for working your butts off. It is not unnoticed, and it does go very much appreciated. So thank you very much for doing all your hard work. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Awesome. So do you have a question?
I do, yes. Sorry, I'll get to it. I guess the question probably on most of our minds is, when do we see the Gen 2 rollout happening?
We plan to have it sometime in December, but we don't have a fixed date for that yet. We just got to check on a few things, and as soon as we do find out, we will inform you guys.
Okay, that's all I got. I'll let somebody else jump up.
Thank you.
Cool, Brian. I know you only have 20 minutes or so. So maybe if you want, you could give kind of like a little brief overview or a small little introduction to the guys here. As this is probably most of their first time, hearing you speak and interacting with you.
Sure,
So
yeah,
if
no
you don't
worries. Yeah, so I've been in the crypto space probably since 2014. I was one of the first writers on sites like Forbes and Inc. and Entrepreneur, writing about crypto when people thought Ethereum was a virus. This is back when it was like a few bucks and people had no idea what it was, and I barely had any idea what it was. I followed Bitcoin from early on. Actually had a roommate back in college that was mining Bitcoin in the room next to me, and I had no idea until he told me he mined like hundreds of Bitcoin.
Oh, wow.
So I was always paying attention to it just from a investment standpoint, or just more like geeking out, just like, crypto is really interesting. And naturally over the course of crypto, it led me to NFTs. Of course, I'm skipping a lot here, but I know we have limited time, so kind of got heavily involved in NFTs earlier this year, minted a bunch of Bored Apes, really just fell in love with the space from like a sort of a gamer perspective, and like just loving art and games and like everything. It was just the perfect storm for me, really. My background is in marketing. I had a marketing agency that was on the Inc. 500. Bit of VC, invested in over 200 projects from in the crypto space and mainstream kind of tech companies and things like that the last couple of years. So that's been kind of my focus the last few years, after kind of, not calling it quits with my agency, but realizing my time was better spent kind of advising companies and investing in companies and things like that. So that's been my main focus since then. Built up a big following in the meantime. Had experience working with a lot of celebrities from my agency, so had a lot of connections and just kind of been bringing that to the NFT space and access to a lot of people, access to a lot of companies, capital, all sorts of things. So it was just the perfect storm. NFTs just have made a lot of sense to me. And just honestly, I just fell in love from like an art and game kind of perspective, and then just stayed for, typical story, stayed for the community, and all sorts of fun that I'm seeing, and sneaky vampires and just across the space and NFTs, and the innovation is really great. So it's really caught my attention. It's nice to be able to have fun while you're also, making money and hanging out with people that are doing innovative and cool things. So it's kind of leads me up to today.
Awesome. That's good. I just have a curious question. Are you still in touch with your friend who was mining Bitcoin back in the day?
Yeah, I am.
Did he keep it?
He did, yeah. He rubs it in all the time.
Wow, that's insane. He held on this long.
I've caught up until this point, but it's earlier on when he had hundreds and I had zero, it was always him laughing at me. But now I've caught plenty up with a lot of investments in the space and things like that.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy that he actually held this long,
Yeah, it is for sure. Yeah, I was watching it back then, but like I didn't know he was mining, but I knew about it, but I wasn't too. My first exposure was a bad experience with Mt. Gox, so that didn't go too well. But kind of lost track of it for a few years until I had a meeting with a guy in LA who was talking about Ethereum. I literally thought it was a virus. It didn't make any sense to me. Then I started digging into it. It was like $2.50 at the time, $2.50, and he was telling me. He said he literally told me, take everything you have and put it into it. And I was like, man, that would be ballsy. I wish I did. Of course, I didn't. But I've stuck with it since then. Started writing about it. Just as I was learning it, I was writing about it basically for some of these big sites, like the Incs and the Forbes of the world. Really more towards 2015, when it started kind of getting some real mainstream attention after their ICO and a bunch of other, that kind of ICO craze. That was like the real beginning of all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy. I wonder how many people in chat know about Mt. Gox. It's actually been quite a while since I've heard someone mentioned.
I know. I'm aging myself here, but it was one of the big exchanges that basically, collapsed, and it's questionable what actually happened, but basically it was a hack and the funds were lost, and they still to this day have not returned for most people, but it is what it is. It's just a part of the space that we all know unfortunately can happen.
Yeah, I do think we have matured a lot through the years, so it's nice to see the amount of new people being onboarded into crypto every day these days, It's been a pretty crazy last 2 years, I would say, for crypto.
Absolutely. For sure, I agree. I think NFTs, I think personally, I think we get the best of that kind of, we get some crossover audience, of course, because there's the blockchain tie-in. But I personally feel like we've got kind of the best of the bunch, especially with Sneaky Vampires. But I mean, in general in the NFT space, I really like the crowd, and I like the communities and things like that. I think it's a good crowd. And sometimes in strict crypto, it can be a little shilly and spammy and me. And this is more community driven, so I like that.
Yeah, that's I think what the nice thing about NFTs is. It's good to see how fast a community can be built and people can come together for a similar goal.
Absolutely, yeah. From a gaming background, just as a player, really, but I see a lot of crossover and similarities where, like, people can fall in love with a game like Call of Duty or whatever game they like, and play it and do it with their friends. And I feel like it's the same with NFTs. You can kind of like get your friends involved, whereas like crypto is you can do it because people are making money, but it's not as fun and cool. So I think NFTs have really got the best of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see. We had a lot of guys who said that this was like their first mint, and it's good to see that they like so many new people participating. So just chat for you guys. I think Brian probably only has like 15-20 more minutes with us. So if there's anything you guys want to ask him directly, we're going to devote this section of the AMA to as much to him as possible. So just raise your hands and, don't be afraid, don't be shy. Just ask our new advisor anything you want. So I think, Ryan, we can continue.
Yep, first we'll pull up Flame.
Yo, what's up, dudes? Can you hear me?
Yo, buddy.
Loud and clear.
Well, I'm
Hello.
gonna do direct the question to Brian since we're not gonna have him very long. So what up, Brian?
Hey, how's it going?
Chilling, bro. How you doing?
Good. Doing good.
I
How
just
long you
wanted-
been in? Oh, sorry.
Shoot, I jumped in pre-reveal, just YOLO'd all of my assets, like a little bit I had into like a picture I didn't know what it was gonna be. So I got super lucky, and I'm very fortunate that I got into like what seems like a blue chip NFT. But I guess my main question is for everyone here that's super new into the space is, what's a better coin to invest in, Bitcoin or Ethereum, seeing as how the amount of coins that there are existing total? So what would be like, I guess, the better investment?
I mean, I can't give financial advice, but I can just tell you how I answer this question generally. And I think from a perspective of, if you look at sort of these large companies buying into Bitcoin, and now you're talking world governments buying in. One thing I was thinking about the other day was, now that Bitcoin is kind of moving up on the asset list in terms of, like, if you think about the top assets dollar value in the world, Bitcoin's like, I don't even know what it is as of today, but I think it's in the top 8 or so, maybe higher. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's around that number. And now responsible countries like the United States and other countries literally have to buy assets that are in the top, I think it's top 10 by mandate, because they could fall behind on, the world stage, so to speak, by not owning those assets. Let's just say that it plays out and Bitcoin and or Ethereum becomes a top 1 or 2 asset. In that case, they would literally have to own it. And if they think there's even a 1% chance, or now probably I think it's higher than 1% chance of that happening, they have to own both of them. I think Ethereum flipping is entirely possible. So I don't like the question of like what's better between the two. I like them both personally. I think the answer is both. I think pick a number, whatever you're comfortable with. I think if you're going to quote unquote invest in the crypto space, I think you really want to be in both to some extent. I think the rivalry between the two is kind of stupid, to be honest. I think we're all in this together. Crypto's crypto. I don't think it's worth fighting over Bitcoin, Ethereum. I really think that if you're responsibly looking at the space, you kind of want to be in both. I think Bitcoin is the true king at the moment. I think Ethereum is the prince that's really showing what it can do differently than Bitcoin, and that's all the transactional stuff, NFTs. It's really bringing a lot of value to the space. It's more usable in a sense. Bitcoin's like the savings account. Ethereum's like sort of the checking / more transactional functional of the two. So that's how I look at it. Yeah. I would probably take a split 50-50, 70-30, something like that, and go into both. I would say, the chances of Ethereum really having many multiples is highly possible. Bitcoin, I think, will of course have those multiples over time and is more secure, quote unquote, for now. But I love Ethereum. Ethereum was my first love of crypto, so to speak.
Sheesh. Holy.
Man said sheesh.
I know I just threw like 100 things at you, but yeah, that's how I answer that question.
Dude, well, I really appreciate the knowledge, Brian, and I'm sure, like, with the newbies here and to the people that are really experienced, like the elders here, just want to say thanks for the knowledge and very bullish again, and I hope everyone has a great day.
Thanks, man.
You too, man.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Thanks, brother.
Okay, next up is Karate Vamp. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Oh,
Oh, he's
damn,
good.
man.
I think we lost
Oh,
him.
what
Okay,
happened?
we'll go for Thrall in the meantime, and then I'll pull him up again.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yep. Hey.
Oh,
Hey, man.
KT, Brian, hey, talking for that, only putting in the feedback. So Brian, I'm not too well educated on the space in general, to be frank. I just like it here. The Vamps are cool. You guys are cool. So I'm just wondering, what exactly is your role as an advisor? What do you actively do? And do you have any immediate plans, for lack of better word, for the direction of SVS or whatever your portion in it is? Yeah, that's my question.
Yeah, so I mean, I've done advisory for a lot of different things. In the NFT space, you know, this is my first big one. I've worked with some others as well, but typically what I do in advisory kind of roles is bring my connections to the table, so to speak. So, you know, in this particular case, you know, and I won't go into details of specifics until they want to announce certain people as they kind of come to fruition. But I had a background in the PR space and worked with a lot of celebrities in LA. And a lot of, you know, big public figures, and have access to just a lot of people. So the first kind of, you know, task at the moment is really just looking for some names that make sense to really get involved on a deeper level for vampires. You know, not just this kind of shilly stuff that you see out in the space, that kind of one-offs that don't really do anything, but just build deeper relationships, tell people, educate them about, you know, NFTs one, and also vampires too. And, you know, because those are the ones that last. Anybody can go spend $1 million and, you know, pay some monster name to shill something, but that doesn't really, you know, maybe that worked 6 months ago, but nowadays it's about those deeper connections and relationships and making it, you know, it's Bored Apes were great at that. They really were able to do that early on, and vampires are doing it good as well. And just really here to amplify the access to some of these big names and bring some people to the table is the main thing at the moment. But I've got a lot of, you know, aces up the sleeve for later. But at the moment, it's finding some names and some people to you know, tell them about vampires and NFTs, and help make vampires more in the mainstream. You know, so that's kind of that's the focus at the moment.
Okay, cool. So that sounds like the media focus is kind of a master class on networking on a more involved level. That's really good. That's super cool. My next question is,
Yeah.
feel free to not answer this, as I say to everyone I ask this to, but what drew you to the project in particular?
Well, the art caught my attention at first. So I think I mentioned before about, you know, come for the art, stay for the community. But that is actually true in this case. It was like I met the guys, and, you know, we kind of hit it off, and you know, but the art caught my attention initially, and then I started looking into it. And I go, whoa, there's some serious utility here, and that's one thing that to me makes a big difference, is the utility too. So when I start seeing all this stuff happening, it's not just the PFP, so to speak. You know what I mean? There's all the different aspects of this that really sets it apart. And obviously, it got some great initial traction, and the community is solid, and you know, so that's mainly what drew me in. But the team is you know, rock stars as well, of course. So it was just a kind of a perfect storm of everything. But yeah, that art initially caught my eye, and then I just started looking into it and went, whoa, this is like exceptionally different than many other projects.
Great, Cool. Great questions. Well, that's it for my line of inquiry for you. I'm gonna let you guys go. Goodbye, T, Crass, Brian, Talk Like Brian, Only Freddie, Meg, and 2D. I look forward to the future with you all.
Cheers.
Thank you.
You, Carl.
Okay, let's
See you,
try
man.
Karate Vamp again.
Hey guys, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
Awesome. Hey Brian,
Right.
really excited to have you on board. You know, it was funny the day that you were announced, I was saying like the crypto punks became popular just because they gave out the punks to a lot of LA influencers and let them know the future. And they all just kind of rallied around it and, you know, drove up their own asset price. And I'm
Exactly.
I was just wondering, do you have anything that you're excited about as far as getting that type of build out? Because we only have 900 on the market. So I think if we can get these in the right hands, we can do a lot for the community.
Yeah, exactly. And you hit it nail on the head there. It's kind of getting in the right hands, as you said, and getting the right eyeballs on it. It's, you know, and we've seen it with punks. We've seen it a bit with, you know, Bored Apes as well. And I think we'll be seeing it here too, where just getting the right people on board and the right people holding them and, you know, things like that is going to make a big difference in terms of bringing it to the sort of the mainstream more. So, you know, and I think there could be other aspects of that on top of just the people that are holding them, but that's kind of the focus now. And I just on initial feedback, just on a handful of conversations I've had, you know, people are really liking what they're hearing and liking what they're seeing, which is not always the case. So I've had tough conversations with, you know, not even just from an advisory standpoint of other projects where, you know, I've just said, hey, I bought this, and it's, you know, really grilling down into, well, you know, tell me more about this. Why is this not just an image or a PFP? And here, I think, you know, there's obviously some exceptional difference, like some of the other ones you mentioned. But yeah, I think that's the main thing is getting this in the right hands and the right eyeballs on it. You know, and it's not only about it's about everything, right? It's not just about the famous names. It's about, you know, getting the right types of people, the right types of, you know, I hate the word influencers, but the right types of influencers to see it as well and be involved. So, yeah, and it's more than just kind of shilling these days. It's not just like, oh, let's get some monster guy to post a PFP. It's what can we really get involved with, you know, and really educate them. And sometimes that takes time, but I think that's the right approach, you know, especially with this where it's off to a great start and things are going well, and it's like, you know, there's infinite possibility here, and we're even seeing with some of these projects getting talent representation with major agencies, and like there's just so many possibilities with different things. So yeah,
That's awesome. Like, I'm so glad to hear that, you know, that's where your focus is. I think that's going to be incredible because it's really about awareness and influence. So you're going to get that awareness about these out, and because it's the right market, you know, being a lucrative LA market, people have, you know, 10 grand to put into these and see it as an investment. The last thing I'll say is I think a really great selling point is, you know, just people are always looking out for the next best thing. And right now, you know, it's punks, it's apes. And for us to have, you know, one of the artists from the apes, and then for the work to be better and more defined. And, you know, I personally like it better than the apes. So if we can really just kind of sell that, you know, that this is the next, you know, blue chip NFT, and, you know, Mig has already had his work auctioned off at Christie's and Sotheby's. That's where we are going to go. You know, you're going to want to get these now below 1/8 because we're going to be, you know, that's the level, and that's where we're going. Like, have you gotten to the point where you've been able to speak to high level people about this, you know, value proposition, and, you know, they have been receptive? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, exactly. You know, I've already had a handful of conversations with people, and everyone's been very, very positive about it. and things like that. So then it's just about strategy. You know, as I mentioned before, it's kind of more than just, hey, we don't really just want you to post something and shill it. We really want like more involvement and just more strategy behind doing what we're doing and the people we get involved. So it's been about more the strategy side. Because my opinion personally is that some of the projects just kind of shill a million people and a million different things. It's kind of like it's very pumpy and it doesn't really last, and then it kind of has a downside at some point. So it's about more creating like a solid foundation and getting the right people to do more involved kind of stuff. So yeah, people have been very receptive though.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Thank you. Really glad to have you on board, and thank you to the team for getting Brian on board. We're really happy that you're taking this to the next level. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you. Next up, we have Count Motula.
Oh, the favorite,
One of
Mr.
our favorites.
Motula.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Yo, what's up, dude?
Thank you guys for having me today, and Brian, thank you for joining our weekly AMA. It's a pleasure to have you, as Karate Vamp said, and as a community member, super excited to see us continue to build, the future of this project.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
My question today is really just about the macro kind of headwinds that we're seeing in the NFT space, and just wondering if you could share some of your insights or experience on just how that might create headwinds for this project, and maybe some things that we're thinking about to navigate the space during this time.
Yeah, I mean, what I think about the market in this space right now is we're massively early first. We're seeing Coinbase NFT, we're seeing FTX, we're seeing, other, layer twos jumping into this. I think it was actually today, Coinbase even said themselves they could see the NFTs being a bigger business than their crypto business, which is saying a lot. I know they had bad earnings report or whatever yesterday, but it's going to be obviously much higher in Q4 here. So yeah, I think that's with all the stuff coming to the space, we're literally still using OpenSea, and like there's going to be other massive platforms coming. I mean, I know there's others, but it's like 98% OpenSea at the moment across the space. But just imagine as like Coinbase NFT launches, FTX launches on the ETH side, and all of these other monster platforms, that's going to be in Coinbase, it tracks like more of kind of a, they have their pro users, but they have a large percentage of sort of newer users and like, beginners and things like that, especially to NFTs perhaps. I know they've got, I think it's like 5 million people online waiting to use it, and this is probably fresh capital to the NFT space. So we're going to be seeing, and that's going to obviously be a nice bridge as well for people that are like, oh, I can't really quite get get the handle on OpenSea. It's a little bit hard for me to get ETH in there. And, there's still a lot of those people. And I think Coinbase will help bridge that gap a little bit. So I think on a macro level, we're still so early, and we're seeing all these huge platforms come in. We're seeing these crazy names like Snoop Dogg come in. And it's just evident that this is gonna be something that's gonna be around for a long time. There's gonna be a lot of different use cases. Yes, there's gonna be failures and tragedies as well, but the projects that do it right, like the vampires, are gonna be around for a long time, and they're gonna benefit from all these new platforms and and people coming into the space and attention from the mainstream, et cetera. So I think everyone in here is going to be looking back in 5 years going, whoa, I was involved in NFTs and obviously a great project super early, and it may not feel like it at the moment, but it is. And just my perspective of like being involved in the tech space early on and crypto early on, it's like this is the same feeling. It's like this is the exact same feeling where we know that we're early, and we know what happens next, and it's just a matter of like riding some waves a little bit and weathering a few storms. But we know that things are going to be looking really pretty in the future. So
no, I really appreciate that response, and I can say Count Mothula is going to be here for the ride. I do agree though that bridging that gap with sort of people who are uncomfortable with MetaMask or uncomfortable with OpenSea by incorporating some of these larger exchanges will be huge for the space. I also really appreciated what you were saying about not just having a pumpy type influencer, right, or a pumpy type approach, but more, long lasting and really integrated, and gives me a lot of comfort to know that the team is thinking long term. Because if I'm an investor, right, and I think about NFTs as a whole, I do want to be part of a project that's not just thinking about today or tomorrow or next week, but really is thinking about 2022 and beyond. So that was my question. I truly appreciate your time and everybody's time, really, to making this such a great community to be a part of. I know I'm new to the space, whether it's crypto or NFTs, and I've learned a ton just being part of this community. And if that's not if that's not worth, the ETH or 2 or whatever that I've invested so far, then I don't know what is. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Mr. Motula.
Okay, next up we have EQ333.
OG Neil need a 2D bullish soon. Bullish, very bullish. Bullish on Brian. Brian, anytime you have to actually just go, you just let us know. Just,
I'll hang out around as long as I can.
Yeah, no stress. Hello, EQ. We can't hear you, unfortunately.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, we can.
Humble apologies, gentlemen. I just want to echo everybody. I'm so happy to be part of this community. I have been in the crypto space for a few years, just new to the NFT world. So this is fantastic. And a lot of I think you answered part of my question, Brian, but I had a two-part question. One, outside of the celebrities and different things are happening on the outside, for us internally in the community, other than Discord, what are the top 2 or 3 things we can do as Vamp and Bat owners to get the word out at a high level? And then coupled with that, I just wanted to know your opinion. Do we have a finance arm in our community, meaning someone who would be able to lend out Ethereum? Because it sounds to me like there's a lot of folks willing and interested in buying these Vamps, but it sounds like those folks are, I've seen it today on the chat that there's been a lot of folks saying they don't have the Ethereum available. Is there anything out there like that, or is that something that's feasible for us to do?
So the first part of the question, I think one thing that's really helpful is, we see it in this space a lot where we see these raids and we see a lot of Twitter activity, and I think that's great. I think the best thing you can do is think of like classy and, well thought of strategic messaging to put, and of course the fun stuff is great. We all like the references and everything. But all, is because, especially as we're going to be having some major eyeballs looking at this, the more we can make, it's going to look more and more like a blue chip, sort of the less, spammy it looks. And I'm not saying it looks spammy at all. I'm just saying you do see that mistake happen in this space where you see people jump into a project and just start spamming like crazy and just, we see it a lot in the crypto space, right? Just the new tokens out. Oh, gem 100x guaranteed. Bye spam. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think with this in particular, we have so much here that we don't need to do that, and it actually looks weaker to do that. So I think that it's thinking of the strength, right? It's like, look how powerful and strong this is, and how well it's done already. How much ammo we have to talk about all the great things being done, and it is happening already. I'm not saying it's not, but I'm just saying more and more of that is really helpful, because if you get a big name looking at this and they go, whoa, not only did this have like 400 response from vampires, everyone's putting like really well thought, things and how they're talking about it, and they're educating people. It's about educating people as much as it's about telling them about it, and really telling them why you like it and what, things along those lines, especially on Twitter, because that's where they're looking, and they're looking at the quality of responses too. If it looks anything like bots or like, copy pasted blasted answers to 100 things, that doesn't look good. So to answer your question, I think that about the kind of well thought, educated, classy kind of answers and responses to things on Twitter is really helpful. Telling people about it is obviously extremely helpful. For even word of mouth, people don't realize how powerful that actually is. Sometimes it's not about shouting something on Twitter. Sometimes you meet somebody at a coffee shop, obviously COVID and stuff, but exactly. Wherever you're meeting somebody these days, metaverse, but being well thought in how you kind of talk about it is really important, and sharing it out there. So I think people overlook that in the space. They think it's about volume and just blasting stuff, but no, it's actually about education and teaching people and you got to think like if you're here in this chat right now, you probably know more than everybody else on Twitter, especially. So what might be obvious and to you may not be obvious to them. You know, people don't come and people don't read very much sometimes, and they skim things over, and it's very, you know, the attention is at a premium. So it's good to kind of do that with people. And on the finance side, I kind of think I missed that. Maybe the guys might be better to answer on the resources for that. Or if you want to repeat that part, I can.
Yeah, no, I was just today. I was seeing in the chat. There was a lot of us that were saying they don't have the Ethereum to buy, but they want to buy, and I thought maybe that was an opportunity. So maybe someone might want to lend Ethereum out to the community, and then it's something we can internalize and kind of like credit unions are versus banks. You know, whereas credit unions, you have a segment of, you work for this company or you're part of this society. Like, can we create a financial arm for folks to have Ethereum lent to them?
I mean, the idea is nice and it's a novelty, but it's a little bit complicated when it comes to lending money out like that to the, randoms over the internet like that, right? So that's why we do know that we try to onboard as many people as possible. That's why we do so many giveaways and run contests for people so they can get exposed to the community and try to get in through winning one of these contests or these giveaways.
Understood. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. I appreciate everything everybody's doing. SVS all day.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I think it's time to bring Paul up. He's had his hand up for a while, so we'll see what he has to tell us today.
What's up, everybody?
Hello,
hey.
Paul.
Hello.
Yes, how you feeling, buddy?
Better? Way better.
Good. Freddie, those hot dogs were no good, my friend.
That's what it was.
So I wanted to give everybody our SVS week in numbers based on all of our Twitter reach. We had a really good week this week compared to last week. Our hashtag SVS NFT, we almost 4x'd compared to last week. We had about 450,000 accounts reached just based on your guys's, the community's tweets and everything like that. So that's really huge. SVS, we hit about 222,000 different accounts and stuff, and we didn't have any custom hashtags last week because we didn't have any like SVS bat releases or anything like that. But as we get closer to Gen 2 and everything like that, we'll start bringing in those very specific hashtags so that we can track exactly how we're doing as a community, kind of promoting that and getting out there on there. So big round of applause for the entire community for following up with those community initiatives and everything. It's totally working. The numbers don't lie, so definitely keep doing what you're doing. I also wanted to announce last week's winner for our merch giveaway. So remember, we give away a merch code every week to a vamp who completes every day of our community initiatives. And this week's winner is Brungus Supreme. I'll be sending you a DM with your merch code and everything like that. So thanks a lot for being super consistent. And I got to say, I feel like dirty saying your name because I feel like Brungus means something that maybe I'm just not aware of. But anyways, every time it pops up, I feel a little naughty saying your name out. So
yeah, it's like other part of the world. It's novelty dish.
Okay. I was like, do I need to go check out like Urban Dictionary to make sure I shouldn't be repeating this out loud?
From it.
Yeah. Go take a shower after this. And then I also wanted to remind everybody to use, if you're comfortable, doxing your location, head over to Vamp Meetup and let's really try to get this community physically connected with each other. I mean, can you guys imagine what it would be like if we had like a LA following who everybody's meeting up at a coffee bar or a beer bar or something like that. Everybody's wearing like their SBS merch. When Brian was talking about just talking to people about this stuff and getting them involved that way, it's like that is such a powerful way for us to spread the word and just kind of show everybody what the community is about. So I really encourage everybody to get over there if you're comfortable, and let's really get some good meetups. if there's any Southern Arizona vamps in here, hit me up. I would love to meet up and have a coffee or a beer or whatever you want to do. And I got to end this with a big shout out to Scotty, our boy Scotty. I hope everybody in the community appreciates everything this guy does. I said it on our community Twitter spaces, but the dude is a iceberg. We only see the top 10% of Scotty in the stuff that he does, but man, that guy is insane behind the scenes, and we are incredibly lucky to have him on board. So, Scotty, I love you. That's all I got, everybody.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you so much, Paul.
No problem.
Okay, let's bring up gasoline. Okay, we'll try someone else
Damn.
while he joins. We'll go for
Bullish
African nerd.
silence. Hello, chat. Does nobody want to come up and ask some questions? We have about 10 minutes left before we get the Plaffy concert, so get your time in.
Quickly touching on what he was just talking about before we get to the next guy. I actually know a lot of like NFT whales and like big players in the space who will actually attend events and go to meetups and talk to people, and they sometimes look for that before they're making big buys. So all that kind of word of mouth, one-on-one stuff at events, even if they're small events, it actually means more than people think. Just because I know a lot of people that will wait until they say, "Oh, I heard about it at this random coffee shop. Now I'm definitely buying." So it actually does make a big difference.
Yeah, we're trying to get. I mean, the community's trying to get one going. I know they're trying to get a vamp meetup going, so it would be cool to see that happen for sure. You know, like a nice vamp meetup with everyone wearing their merch, as Paul says.
Yeah.
Hello, African nerd.
Hello, African nerd.
Hey guys, how you guys doing?
What's up, dude?
Good.
Okay. Sorry,
Doing
actually,
good.
I came in late, so I don't know if this was already discussed. But one thing I noticed is, in this space, from a marketing perspective, have you guys been thinking in terms of urban entertainers, rappers, athletes, that can potentially get involved in this? Because in my experience in past of building apps, I've seen them really, really, be able to, drive attention. And we've also seen the same thing with Bored Ape. So I'm wondering if that's something you guys are considering. And if so, I might actually be able to help. Because I actually work with I've worked with a few top rappers out there, and I still have some connections to some top athletes. So I just wanted to check on that.
Yeah, so we have been trying to reach out to quote unquote a little bit more of the mainstream people with these top athletes and top urban entertainers and stuff like that. But these kind of things, reaching out to them is not the most difficult part. It's coming to an agreement with these people to how we're going to proceed forward is the tricky part, But it's something that we're actively looking at doing and something that we're working along with Brian as well to get more exposure on.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think the best ones are the ones that are already interested and curious in this space. I think those are potentially some those that could really work out really well because they kind of get a sense of things. So, yeah, man, it'd be great. Brian, great to have you on board. If you guys want, to help out on this, I can definitely follow up and let you know who I know. And if you guys think it could be a great fit, we could potentially, I can help coordinate those.
Yeah, why don't you DM me? I think you should be able to. I think I've got it opened up. So yeah, feel free to DM me after. We can chat.
Okay, we'll do that.
Awesome, man.
Thank you.
By the way, African nerd, can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
It sounds like you're in a microwave. Are you in a microwave?
No, it's just the air conditioning in my room.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Okay, thank you so much.
All right.
Almost doxed him.
I almost doxed him in the great microwave of the United States of microwaves.
Okay, let's get the crypto lord up.
There is only one of those, so.
Cool. Chef Pueblo, I see your question, right? Can we get an honorary event for the CNBC guys and send it to the studio in hopes of them showing it up on set? Sorry for the double spam. No worries. We actually are trying to get in contact with them and see if we can work something out with them. We don't really want to just make honoraries for some people and kind of ship them out because I know, as Big said, we have had our time wasted by a few people. We won't say any names, but it's something that if we can actually get in touch with them, that would be cool. I don't know if you guys saw that we were in the background of one of the, I think it was on ESPN for one of the college football or college basketball things. Dude had a portrait of the vamp. Very bullish on the vamps. The hero Big said, I can't listen. It's okay, you can listen to us on YouTube. Okay, hello, the Crypto Lord. Your mic is green, but there is no sound.
I've
Hello?
been there. You get a lot of panic when that happens.
Hello? Yeah, we can hear you now, I think.
Oh, okay, here we go. How's everyone doing? Sorry about that.
No worries. How are you?
Good. So my question is, in terms of blood, is there a marketplace being established so that we can purchase things on there, such as merch? Also tied into that, I know we had talked about, or you guys had talked about purchasing vamps with the proceeds from the bats, and I know that's kind of tricky right now, but would we be able to use blood to, if that's still on the table, to buy some of those, or buy maybe some kind of buff for breeding or for Gen 2 that would maybe using some blood tokens would increase the chances of getting a rare trait?
So with the bat royalties to purchase vamps, that's not possible right now because we don't want to step on OpenSea's toes and, get us in trouble because that kind of can create a security. And as for the question about the blood, I'm pretty surprised Freddie got to keep quiet for 48 minutes, so I think he can take this one.
Yeah, so for Gen 2, right? Yeah, blood can be used as like a discount for the purchase. But you would also still pay ETH for it.
Yeah, so you can redeem your blood tokens for further discount, even if you have whitelist.
Okay, cool. And anything in regards to being able to use blood for some type of merchandise store where we can use our blood to buy other stuff. I know champagne is down the pipeline, but things.
Yeah, Freddie, is that down the pipeline?
Yeah, we're still waiting on champagne, right?
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
can definitely look into doing a merchandise store for you guys as well.
Yeah, we'll see what we can add as we move along the line, and we collab with other people. We try to introduce blood as much as possible. Any other questions to Cryptolog?
Nope. I think that's it.
Okay, next.
Oh, I think we got time for one more, yeah. For our big concert.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Great. Great to have the opportunity to ask questions. So thank you for having me up here. I actually just had a quick question for Brian. My question to you, Brian, is given the current state of the NFT market as we are, do you think is the best strategy with regards to releasing Gen 2 to maximize everything with this project?
In terms of timing or just overall strategy?
Well, I think timing at the moment is probably the biggest concern.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've been in this, the crypto world for a long time, and obviously NFTs really since it's kind of been popular here. From what I'm seeing, it is really tough to time markets for sure, because those of what we're seeing in the NFT space now is really because everything's pumping on the crypto side, so we're seeing a little bit less, less liquidity perhaps on the NFT side, but it depends. So there still is a lot of liquidity in a way as well. So my view is that, you know, the guys are getting everything ready, and it's, you know, looking at sometime in December, and you know, it's just really hard to predict exactly how it's going to look then. Even as we're sitting on this chat, ETH is going up and down $300-$400. So it's all over the place. You know, gas is all over the place. So you know, they're obviously going to be looking at ways to minimize and do that kind of stuff. But I mean, I think December traditionally should be fine. So I think we just have to keep an eye on the markets on the crypto side and see how things go. We're tracking it. I'm tracking it. I do a lot of charting and monitoring and things like that, and also looking at, you know, activity in the NFT space. And you know, it's kind of one of those, like, take in all the data, do it, you know, make the best decision you can with the information you have at the time. It's easy in hindsight to say something was a good or bad move, but it's really hard in the moment to say timing wise when is the right thing. It's kind of like, you know, it's predicting in a way how things are going to be looking at the time. The good thing is, I think, with the right marketing and the right pushes and stuff, obviously we don't want gas to be super high and all that kind of issues, but you know, we can make something go well sort of irregardless with these kind of, you know, the kind of ammunition that's being lined up and things like that. So not too worried about it, but at the same time, it's obviously relevant, of course, to be taking all these things into account. So yeah, I'm not sure if that answers your question, but it's basically kind of taking in a lot of information. You know, I'm just speaking in general, not even just VAMPs, for NFTs in general, taking in information, making the best decisions we can kind of at the time. But I think this team is well capable of timing that and doing the best the best anybody can, given the conditions of the space. So I'm not worried about it in the slightest. I think this team, like I said, super capable and will make ultimately the right decisions on all that kind of stuff.
Do you think there's a concern of too much dilution too early, if our floor price is too low with the release of Gen 2? And I guess second question, mainly to the group, that is there a likelihood that the decision to postpone Gen 2 may happen if we don't feel it's correct? No.
I'll let the guys jump in on the decision for the Gen 2.
Yes. So for that, do we think there's going to be too much dilution? Well, I mean, we're going to assess how we play Gen 2 week by week anyway. We're just going to get things ready according to our original schedule and see when we would be best to do. The thing is, when it comes to utility and timeline, right? As much as we want to add as much utility as possible, like with breeding and stuff, Gen 2 is kind of essential to that as well. But it's definitely something that we're taking week by week. That's why we were going to announce the original date for Gen 2, but we decided not to do that yet because we want to just make sure that everything is in the right place, and you know, that not only the market, but like in itself, the community and the progress is all good before we go ahead with that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think I'm here for the long haul, so I'd rather we take our time and do things properly and make sure we do a good job of it.
For sure. Thank you so much.
Thanks everyone.
Okay, we're gonna try gasoline again since he disconnected before.
Hey guys, I had two quick questions. The first one, I guess it's for Brian a bit. You guys already developed the QR program for I guess my application, the simple one would be like concerts and things like that. You guys ever think about licensing that off to certain like performers, like musicians, to get a partnership with the SVS community so that we can actually use that technology to like leverage the project?
I mean, I think it's entirely possible. You know, it's educating them on kind of what's going on with vampires. I think musicians are, you know, obviously a very relevant target. Kind of, you know, they have access to a lot of fans, and it can be the right audience in many cases. So, you know, as we get into those convos about the tech and things like that, I think it's all things that they will be looking at. You know, some are going to nerd out more on it than others, if that's your question, but. You know, others may love the art. You know, some might you know, really love certain aspects of the utility. Some might love the community. It's all, I think, dependent. But
like, oh, sorry about it.
No, go ahead.
You see some musicians already dipping their toes in it, like Tory Lanez, and they're using it for simple applications, selling albums. So if like
Yeah.
people that we see that are already dipping their toes, and if we somehow get a meeting with them to pitch them on the idea of, hey, why don't we do like 100 tickets for on this NFT side just to test it out how it works, so then they could also own their ticket sales and things like that instead of like a StubHub or whatever getting royalties from it. Then they would get their own royalties, but they'd be incentivized to partner with us since we already built the technology essentially.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's a full team decision on how that's all leveraged, but it's good that there's many options for these different types of people, especially musicians. So I think I'm sure it'll be on a case by case basis of what makes sense, and who knows, maybe maybe everyone decides to open something like that up in the future. But you know, in the meantime, it's educating them on everything going on. So, but that's a cool idea.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. And then secondly, I know we can't do the DAO anymore because of OpenSea, but do you guys have an alternative of like a way to get back to the SVS community, or it's just like we're just parking that idea for now on the BAT's royalties?
You mean with using that to sweep the floor and redistribute it back to holders?
Yeah.
No, I don't, as it stands, that's not really possible because that's gonna create a security, and OpenSea has been super strict with people that do this with the volume and royalties. So we want to be careful as much as possible because we have seen OpenSea delist projects, stuff like this.
Okay, so is there any way, I guess, like to take those royalties and use them for a different purpose? You know what I mean? Like, let's say.
Yeah. So we use them for every that all goes back to the project, right? So we buy bats and we can use that to do giveaways, run contests, buy vamps to give to other members of the community. And we've already bought like 9 vamps from the bat royalties, and we use it all for giveaways and things like that. Okay, and trying to onboard new people and new community members.
That works too. Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. So is Plaffy here?
He's not yet. We'll put someone else up first. Rocky Mix. I think this could be the last question for now.
Yeah, we'll do this as the last one. Thanks for staying the whole hour, by the way, Brian.
No worries. I do have to jump off now, though. So I appreciate you guys having me.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Thanks for everybody's questions, and glad to be here. So I'll talk to you guys all soon. I'll be in the chat. Feel free to reach out. Thanks. Okay, bye.
Brian.
Hopefully Rocky's question isn't for Brian.
Yeah, it's not. I was actually waiting a while to put my hand up thinking he was going to be gone because I just wanted to share a story about the vamps and kind of just how it touched the life last week or 2 weeks ago.
Awesome.
I heard the story.
Let's hear it.
It's a cool story.
Okay. So I live up in Canada. Very much looking to move my family down to Arizona. Was planning a trip to Phoenix a couple weeks ago. Found out I had a buddy from back in the day who lives down there. He used to be my boss. Called him up, said I was coming down. He said, "Yeah, no problem. You can stay with me. When you get in, I won't be home. Here's my coat." So when I go to his house, as soon as I walk in, I hear like this hum upstairs. So I start walking up the stairs, and as soon as I get to the top of the stairs, I see a open room filled with mining equipment, just running. Found out it's like $100,000 ETH setup. And so when he gets home, I'm just super excited to talk to him about what he's got going on there. He tells me, he's been doing it for about a year, so he knows nothing about crypto, but loves this, wants to get into it. And so I bring up NFTs. Are you into any NFTs? He's like, no, I know nothing about it. So at that time, I'm like, okay, well, I got to show you this vamp, the sneaky vampire. So it was a couple days before the bat drop, and I'm like, you got to get in here. So he ends up buying a couple bats. We go to a hockey game that night, and one sec. So we go to a hockey game that night after the game. He's like, "Hey, I want to introduce you to a partner that runs this bar with me. He's also into it. We want to look at a couple things in crypto." So meet up with his friend after, and they wanted to get my opinion on this investment they were going to do in this some crypto company in Arizona. And as soon as we got there, my buddy, all he wants to talk to his buddy about is how he just bought a vampire. So that guy's getting kind of jealous about it. So he's like, I'm going to get a vampire too. So he buys one that night. we get back to his house. It's a late night. We've had a few things to drink, and so I start asking him, like, how's everything with the kids and everything like that. And at that point in time, the feel, the vibe, everything kind of changed. And he says, you know what? I haven't seen my kids in about 4 years. He said, had a rough divorce. The wife's holding like a lot of things over their heads. You know, she's married a new guy. They've got a ton of money, and they're paying for cars for them, and the cars are like over their head that if they see me, they're not going to be able to use the car or have a car or have gas or insurance. And so for whatever reason, that's like my kids aren't talking to me. And he was down, and he's sad, and he's just like, I don't know what else I can do. So that was about 2.5 weeks ago. Early last week, Monday, he calls me and he says, hey, Rock, I sent the picture of the vampire to one of my sons, and he's been texting me like crazy for the last week, sending me all these new NFTs that he's interested in and excited in. He came over to the house. I showed him my Ethereum setup. He's just super excited. He says, Dad, this is like what I'm into. On Wednesday, he calls me up with his son in the car, and he's like, hey, he wants to get involved in this project. What do you think? And I said, I don't know anything about it, but here's what you need to look for as far as, scams and new drops and everything like that. Friday night, he sends me a message, and he says, hey, Rock, just want to say thanks for everything. This last week, I've hung out and talked to my kid more than I have in 5 years. He's he's wanting to do everything with NFTs. I've got a connection with him that I didn't know I had. And he's like, the last few days have been the best few days of my life, all because I bought a vampire. So thank you.
That's awesome. What a great story.
Damn. What a story.
That's beautiful.
Thanks for sharing that with us, Rocky.
No
Right
problem.
in the fields.
Right in the actual fields. Yeah, that is a great story. Yeah. Well, it's great, to see that we can, as a community, have this kind of impact on people.
Okay,
No,
I think it's time.
it's amazing. Thank you for everything you guys do.
Thank you so much, Rocky.
Thank you.
It's a great story to end the AMA on before we have our mini concert, so I hope you stay around for that one as well. Oh, hello, Pluffy. Here comes the man of the hour.
Can y'all hear me decently?
Yes.
So Pluffy lost then, right?
Yeah. It was actually not a terrible fight from Covington, but he still got, pretty dominated. So, okay. Just give me 1 sec, and hopefully this mic doesn't cut out.
Maybe you can do a test shout.
Ah!
Oh God.
Yeah, okay, it doesn't cut out.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
God.
So for those that have hearing aids, ensure that you take them out. I guarantee you.
Okay, sorry, chat. Sorry, chat. Yikes. Okay.
Oh, I love it. That's how we started it. That's great.
Y'all ready?
His mic works for sure.
And we're gonna start. Ba da ba da 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 ba ya ba da da ba da ba da ba ya ba 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 da 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 ba ya ba ya ba da ba da ba ya. There used to be a great tower alone on the sea. You became the light on the dark side of me. Love remained a drug that's the high and not the pill. But did you know when it snows, my eyes become large and the light that you shine can be seen? Baby, I compare you to a kiss from the rose on the grave. Oh, the more I get of you, the stranger it feels, yeah. Now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave. Ba-ya, ba-da, ba-da, da, da, ba-ya. Bye. There is so much a man can tell you, so much he can say. You remain my power, my pleasure, my pain, baby. To me, you're like a grown addiction that I can't deny. Won't you tell me, is that healthy, babe? But did you know that when it snows, my eyes become large and light that you shine can't be seen? Baby, I can pay you to a kiss from the rose on the grave. Oh, the more I get of you, the stranger it feels, yeah. And now that your rose is in bloom, a light, it's the gloom on the grave. All right, now there's like an instrumental part for a little bit, so I'm gonna take a little break, and then once it kicks back on, I'll jump into it because I'm listening to the song right now.
Oh, what an amazing voice, though.
I've been kissed by a rose on the grave. I've been kissed by a rose on the grave. If I should fall, will it all go away? I've been kissed by a rose. There is so much a man can tell you, so much he can say. Man, my power, my pleasure, my pain. To me, you're like a grown addiction that I can't deny. Won't you tell me, is that healthy, Freddy? Did you know when it snows, my eyes become large and the light that you shine can be seen? Last one. Baby, I can pay you to a kiss from the rose on the grave. Ooh, more I get of you, stranger it feels, yeah. Now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave. Yes, I can pay you to a kiss from the rose on the grave. The more I get of you, the stranger it feels, yeah. Now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave. And that's all, folks.
That's amazing.
Damn, that was
Amazing.
awesome.
The last one.
Thank you, Blaffy. Can we get some claps in the chat, please?
My mic cut out.
No.
Oh, hold on. I don't think I can hear you guys.
Oh, we can hear you though.
Hello?
You know what? Blacky,
Yes.
For that performance, I'm gonna let you have Dustin Poirier on our next bet. How about that?
That's all that matters. Hopefully one bet I can win.
Okay, I got Charles Oliveira then.
That'll be a good fight. So
Yeah. Let's go.
Let's go. Well, very bullish on Blaffy's concert. Do you have
just real
any
quick,
closing words for us, Blaffy?
I don't know if y'all want to set up. I've got a merch code that I'm not going to use because I pretty much bought all of it. Is it possible to do like a giveaway through y'all's Twitter for the merch code?
Yeah, we can set that up, right, Ryan? Topkick?
Yeah, we can
No
do
problem. Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
we might just do one within the Discord or something. So, people who actually listen to your concert can have a high chance at it. So, yeah. Do you want to just pick someone in chat right now as you see scrolling through? Can someone just type, okay, what's the word you want to use, Plaffy? Okay, let's use the word Plaffy.
I want to try and give it to someone who doesn't have one. This is too much power. See, I'm having an issue giving away a merch code. I don't know how y'all can pick these art contests.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent out there.
Let's go with medium dark Dante.
Cool, just DM him, I guess. Hello, congrats, medium dark
I'll
Dante.
send you the merch code. So.
Oh, I see him. He's in the chat straight away. Congrats. Congrats on your new merch code from, Plaffy the artist. So.
Yeah, album's dropping soon, so.
Yes, maybe maybe 69,000 blood for Plaffy SVS album. Who knows? Okay. And that's the closing deal for today. Okay, thanks everyone for joining this week's AMA, and we'll see you next week. Who knows what Plaffy will sing next time? Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.